time on the Ended Up in Vegas podcast, Lynn Smith Jerome and Alexandra Lourdes. They're the powerhouse pair behind Las Vegas's prettiest coffee and donut shops, Café Lola and St. Honoré.
Thank you for being with us on the podcast.
Thank you.
Tell us both how you ended up in Vegas.
I actually ended up here when I was 10. My family moved to Las Vegas. My mom, actually, she got a job as a teacher. We're from the East Coast. I was born in New York, in New Jersey, moved here when I was 10 years old. So my parents brought me here. Been here ever since.
Very good.
And I came here actually for college. So both of my brothers were here going to college, and they were like, just come here for grad school, because I was looking to see, I was just choosing which grad school to go to. And I ended up just coming to UNLV for my master's, and then I stayed for my PhD. So I've been here now, how long is that? Like 15 years now. It's crazy.
So you guys opened Café Lola how long ago?
It was May 12th, 2018. So
And
5 years.
And you have expanded exponentially since then.
Yes.
Tell us about your latest restaurant.
Yeah, so we just opened at the Forum Shops at Caesar's Palace, which is crazy since it's about ending up in Vegas. I remember when the Forum Shops opened.
Yeah.
And I went there, and it was the blue sky. And as a kid, you're like, this is the coolest place. They
Yeah.
had the old FAO Schwartz and just everything, the shows that you used to go to and the Abercrombie you go to in high school. And now we have a store there. It's pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah, when I was going to college, I worked there right next door to where our store is now.
Oh,
I worked at MAC Cosmetics. It's no longer there, but now I work right next door, which is crazy, but it's our own cafe. It's so funny.
wild.
And the namesake of the cafe was after your kids, right?
No, that's our newest restaurant. We actually named it
You
after.
open so many
I
so
know.
often. It's hard to keep up.
Three Little Chicks is like our newest chicken restaurant, and that one's after our kids. But yeah, Café Lola, it was actually my dog I had actually all through college. Her name was Lola, and it's Lynn's mom's name is Lola.
Oh
so
my
when we met,
gosh.
we're like, oh, we both have a Lola that means so much to us in our lives. So it was always the name before we even had Café Lola. We're like, we're going to open something named Lola.
Tell us about your partnership and how you guys, what's the secret to your success working together?
People ask us that all the time, actually. But I feel like what's great about our partnership is that we have different strengths. And I think that it's kind of hard to find maybe somebody like that, because you become friends with people who are similar to you, But I feel like we do have similarities, but most of our differences and most of our strengths are different, So where I excel, I can take over that project. She doesn't even have to worry about, for example, the social media aspect of our company, or all the new development, all the donut, I do all the donut development, the lattes, all that part, I take over, and she doesn't even question it, and then vice versa. She's like, we're opening here. She's looking at all the new, leases in Arizona and things. And I'm like, okay, you just tell me where to be next, So, and I don't question it. I think that that's kind of the nice thing about having a partner that you can trust, that can do it without your help.
Yeah, I think we can identify with that because we have different strengths and weaknesses together that we share. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced that you could have never anticipated in opening businesses?
Oh my
There's
gosh.
so many.
Forum in itself was, I can't even, I have nightmares about that project. It was so tough to get it open. We were actually supposed to be open last summer, and it was literally roadblock after roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, to the point where it was almost comical, because I'm like, how can this many things possibly go wrong with a project? Like, my hair's literally turning gray. But now you look back on it, and it's open, and it's beautiful, and it's like, okay, was it really that bad? Because it was kind of bad. But,
it was
there's so much that we learned, and now moving forward, if we ever do something on the Strip again, I know it all, and I have no hesitation. We can totally do it. I know what we need to do with the fire department, the building department, all the little hoops that you have to jump through, because now you're in a casino on the Strip.
Right.
It's not like you're opening a street side local neighborhood restaurant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there were a lot of challenges, things that were definitely unforeseen. But now, it's like anything. We always get hit with something, hit with a challenge, but we just have to overcome it. We always figure it out, and we always will.
Yeah. Well, and you guys created so tell us a little bit more about your background, because you both have, you're both very highly educated, and you have backgrounds in the law. So you know what you're doing as far as contracts and
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But you guys created Refined Agency as well. Tell us a little bit about just the background of what you had going into doing business in the restaurant business.
So she has a law degree. I have my PhD in education. And we met actually working on campus. And from
at UNLV.
UNLV, yeah. Because we were both working on campus after we graduated. And from there, we met and we like threw an event together, and we just realized obviously how well we worked together. We weren't even like friends really. We had known each other for a week, and we're like, okay, let's throw an event together. And then someone else had reached out. We knew a lot of similar people though, like so we had like heard of each other, and my husband actually introduced us. And so then someone else reached out to Lin and was like, can you throw an event at my space, because it was a restaurant, and so we ended up throwing an event for Elizabeth Blau, who's like a big restaurateur in town, and she owned Andiron at the time. And we threw an event there, and we got like 300 people there, I think.
Yeah, it was insane.
It was crazy in their little bar area, and it was a small bar area. And we were like, wow, like we just didn't realize what we were doing at that time, but that it was marketing, like it was social media marketing. It was just such a new field, like 10 years ago, that I don't think a lot of people knew, that could even become a business. So she's like, can you guys just take over the marketing of my company? Like, I don't want to hire someone else. I just want you guys to do it. So we were like, of course, like we can do that.
Like, we don't do this. She goes, well, figure it out. Cause
Yeah. So we ended up literally sitting there at that restaurant. She filed the LLC. I created a website real quick. I created, the logo, and we just like threw everything together, like had a full business. Luckily, I have an art background too. Like my undergrad's in art, so I had experience doing like kind of like the graphic design, and so that's like where we kind of completed. Like we could do everything in the business. She could file the LLC. She did all those documents, and I was able to do the other part of the business. And we formed a business literally in 24 hours, and we ended up doing social media for her, and then she started referring us to other people, and I think in 1 year we ended up with 15 clients. Like it was crazy, because at that time no businesses were really on social media yet. So like we were definitely ahead of the curve there, I think. So when we realized the impact social media had on restaurants, we kind of had an idea that like we could probably do it ourselves, because we have the marketing background and we've worked with restaurants for so long now. So it was like about 2 years after we were paying rent on an office, and she looked at a space. Actually, we drove by it all the time. We really loved it. And so she finally was like, hey, this spot for rent is the same price we're paying for our office. So like we know, like worst case scenario, if we fail, like we can just pay it like because of our with our marketing company. So we built a second floor. So we did it. We just signed the lease. Our husbands thought we were completely crazy, because we were like jumping into a restaurant business now that we didn't know. But again, we didn't really know about social media either, but we learned it, so we kind of had a lot of faith in ourselves, and we really cheer each other on when it comes to this kind of stuff. If someone's like one of her, like us, are scared, we're like, we can do it. We can do it. And so we signed the lease. We built a second floor, which was our office at the time, at Café Lola, and then we opened. It was crazy. And then we had, again, the social media. We jumped on social media 8 months before we even opened the restaurant. So we kind of built this following, taking them along the process of how we opened, the construction process. We took them along the whole journey of us opening a restaurant. And I think that really started kind of the connection to Café Lola, and like they really feel like they're part of our family, and we do too. We totally feel like they're our family. Like our whole social media following, it's incredible. So, and they still support us to this day. We take them along the journey all the for everything we do.
Yeah, every new product that Alex creates, and you're gluten free, so you always have really fun recipes to show.
Yep.
Along the way, were there moments where your intuition hit and said, "This is going to be something big, and we just have to keep going"? Like, were there certain moments?
Kind of doubt ourselves. I feel like even today,
I still don't even think we really realize the things that we've done, because we're always on to the next project. Somebody told that to me on Friday night. They're like, Lin, do you realize that you have someone that I went to high school with? I went to Green Valley High, and he came to the openings. Like, do you realize you have a restaurant inside of the Forum Shop this season? Have you realized that yet?
Someone said that to me too.
Yeah, and I
I'm
said,
like,
no, because next week I need to go to Three Little Chicks. I need to get it open. I need to go down to the billing department. I need to pull I need to do all these things. So we just don't, which we should do. We should stop and just take it all in, but we don't. We always have something else going on. And like you asked, how was the opening? It was great, but now Alex is going to go run down there after this, and there's still things that are missing that I have to do construction wise. So it just never stops. We probably should take it in, But we keep going. We keep going.
It's a bit, and at the end of the day, it's still a business, you know, and there's days that aren't good, you know, like there's days that, you know, like they're slow and we're like, oh my gosh, like, this is scary, you know, and then there's a week that's slow and then the next week's okay, you know? So it's like, at the end of the day, I feel like you're just always on your toes. Like there's always something that happens. Our donut fryer goes out, you know, we're out of donuts the whole next day, you know, there's just always something that happens. So like to us, we just always are. I feel like we're always on our toes and always just trying to make each day better every day.
Yeah, everyone gets to see the good and the fun parts,
right? Yeah,
but they don't see, you know, the full day, like what's really going on. And I think that's why we're not like, okay, yeah, this is a home run. We're like, okay, well,
not yet.
We got to look at the business side of things.
Yeah,
it
not
will
yet.
be, but not yet. So.
They don't get to see how the sausage is made, right?
Exactly. There's a lot that goes into making the sausage.
Growing up mostly in Vegas, were there certain places that inspired you or that you wanted to? I mean, you have community events at Café Lola. You do a lot of things, you know, in the community. So were there certain places that you wanted to, you know, emulate or be like in any way to be known for in Vegas?
I know growing up here, like I kind of touched on before, Forum Shops that was the place to go and the place to be. And as a kid, I remember my best friend, every single one of her birthday parties, her mom threw at a restaurant in the Forum Shops. Every weekend, a friend of mine was like, do you remember we used to hang out there every weekend and we would go here and we would go to Cheesecake Factory. And it was just the coolest place, especially as a little kid, because I see my daughter now and we take her to Disneyland or something like that. And I'm like, when I was younger, this just seemed so much bigger than it does now and so much grander. And now I'm like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're a kid, everything is just 10 times grander and larger and it's on another level. So for me, that was always like the coolest place to go. And it still is. And now we have a restaurant there. So
that's so cool.
I have so many memories from that and just having friends reach out and say, remember we went and did this here or we went there, or remember when you started Ladies Who Dine and you had an event at that Henry Bendel because that was your favorite store ever. And now the Henry Bendel is Café Lola.
Oh my gosh.
I even took a photo of the back door because it's still written in ink. It says Henry Bendel, Suite EO5. And I'm like, don't touch that.
Yeah.
This is my favorite store ever.
Yeah.
And now it's gone, but now we've created something else in that same space.
Right. That's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What are some of the places that you recommend for friends coming into town? Where are your favorite spots in Vegas?
Oh, that's her.
Like food wise,
Yeah.
or like all over the place. Oh my gosh, there's like so many. But obviously Café Lola and say Honoré, our donut shop. I always do this. But there's like Toca Madera is actually one of my favorite spots. Have you guys been there before? Oh, it's like on the strip actually, but it's such a fun environment. I just love places that have really good food matched with like the energy and the environment and like the service. You know, I think it all goes together. And then something off the strip is Nataya's Secret Kitchen.
Yes.
That's like one of my favorite places, and it's a go-to. Everyone loves that place. It's Thai food. It's like a Thai fusion.
Up in the Northwest, right?
There's two.
Okay.
Now, yeah. But there's one, but yeah, the food is just so unique, and it's also a woman-owned business, and it's just incredible, that food, and also the environment's awesome. The service is great. So those would be like my two top
picks.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that you're gluten-free. Where are your like favorite spots for, you know, honoring the options for healthy gluten-free options?
I'm trying to think where I go. So like True Foods. Have you guys been to True Foods? They have I love all their options. You know, they have like, I love that they have oat milk matchas. They have, you know, gluten-free pizza. They have gluten-free, you know, all the things that you can get. Obviously we have so many at Café Lola and St. Honoré. We have gluten-free donuts and things. And then, I mean, luckily now I feel like there's a lot of places that have options. You know? So, but I would say like True Foods and like Earth Cafe and Café Lola are the top three.
Well, because you've come up with so many recipes, I feel like on your own. How do you do this? Like, this is just, is this part of,
I guess my education background, I just do so much research, and then I just try things at home. And then when it tastes really good, like for example, like I did like an orange olive oil cake. It's like vegan and gluten-free. And I made it for my birthday cake because I wanted something like just really delicious and unique. And it's so good that I'm like, we have to make this a donut. So I ended up bringing it to the donut shop, and we made it our gluten-free vegan donut of the month.
Oh, very
so things
cool.
like that. I just kind of just mess around at home with different flavors, and then I bring them in.
Yeah.
Like to experiment. That's fun.
Yeah. Did you ladies ever expect to move away from Las Vegas? Did you expect to stay here? so long?
I love it here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I first left to go to college for a year, came back. First left to go to law school for a year, came back. I always come back here. This is definitely 1,000% home, and it always will be. I mean, my husband is obsessed with Vegas. I mean, this is home. This is where my family is. My friends are my family, so I will never leave.
What side of town are you on now?
I'm in Southwest. Grew up over here.
In Green Valley.
But now I live in Southwest.
Yeah.
And I'm in Summerlin. Yeah, I love it here too. But we travel a lot, and we have family like all over the world. So we do try. So for me, I'm like, my dream would one day be to like travel for the summers, maybe like living in like Europe for the summer and then come back for the year. So that's like my ultimate dream.
Yeah. And so I hear you mentioned Arizona. So are you looking out of state to?
We are. I think that's going to be the next step.
That's the 8th location, or is the 8th location in town?
So the 8th is actually in town. It will be our Three Little Chicks location.
Okay.
But we are definitely looking to expand to Arizona. I don't know exactly when. We do have some things we need to kind of button up from the business end right here for everything that's here. But we'll get there. But that's going to be the next move.
That's exciting.
Yeah. How do you guys balance it all? Do you think, I mean, you're both moms and you have families that you're raising alongside, forging through opening so many businesses. Do you think you can have it all as a woman?
You definitely can have it all. You just have to be very organized. But we are, as women. We know how to multitask. I think that's our greatest strength is multitasking. You can't do it all without help. You can't do it all without having, a partner by your side. And with us, it's Alex and myself, and then both of our husbands are very involved in the business. So if it wasn't for all of
100
us,
employees.
Yes, exactly. If it wasn't for all of us and for all of them, there's no way. I mean, it's impossible to do all of this on your own. But definitely with that support system and that team, absolutely.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a sweet age. Yeah. And Alex, you have 2 girls. How old are they?
Yeah, almost 5. So it's almost 2 and almost 5. So 2 and 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah. They're like
Very
right
busy.
in that stage.
Yeah. And such a fun stage too, to
Yes.
have girls.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. We're so lucky. We just had all 3 girls. It's
I
so
know.
funny.
They're just, it's the best thing.
They're all great
Ever.
friends. Yeah.
They are. They don't ever, do they fight ever?
My
or do
two
they share well?
but like Sophie and Margot are like little besties.
I know.
We love each other.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. This
having
was
us.
fun.
Yeah,
You'll have
thank
to let us know where you're going to show up in Arizona so we can be there prepared to, roll out the red carpet. Megan, any other questions you had?
No, I think you covered it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited to go try the one at the Forum Shops.
Yes.
That was always like my place for like shopping for a last minute outfit to like go
Yes.
out to a club or something.
Christmas gifts.
Yes.
And that was the spot.
Yeah. My favorite part of the Forum Shops was knowing how to get through the back entrance as a local and not have to go through the whole casino.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
well,
how we get into.
that's how you get into it. Well, thank you both for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, this is Megan from the Ended Up in Vegas podcast. Thank you so much for watching and being part of our first 20,000 views on YouTube. We hope you subscribe, watch, and comment on our episodes because that's kind of how this thing works. So we can tell more people about what it's really like to live in Las Vegas.